The morning frost still clung to the tall grass when a little girl in a torn orange dress stumbled out of the woods. Her tiny boots were muddy, her hair tangled, and her cheeks flushed red from the cold. She couldn't have been more than 6 years old. When she reached the wooden cabin, she stopped, staring up at the giant man who stood shirtless in the doorway, a man built like an oak tree, strong and silent, with hands that looked like they could crush steel. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They hurt my mom. She's sick." That was all she said before her knees gave out, and she fell into the frost. Hey friends, welcome back to Kindness in Action, where we share true and powerful stories that remind us of the goodness still left in this world. If you believe kindness can change lives, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Every story you engage with helps spread hope a little farther. The man's name was Jack Turner, a rancher who lived alone on the edge of Pine Hollow, Montana. Folks in town called him Giant Jack. Some feared him because of his size and quiet ways. Others pitied him, said he'd lost too much in life to care about anyone anymore. His wife had died 5 winters ago, and since then, he'd shut the world out. But that morning, when Jack saw the little girl lying in the frost, something inside him cracked. He scooped her up gently, like she was made of glass, and carried her inside his cabin. The warmth hit her cheeks, and soon she stirred. Jack wrapped her in a wool blanket and offered her some hot cocoa. Her small hands shook as she held the cup. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked softly. "Lily," she said. "My mom's name is Sarah. She's hurt bad." Jack's heart tightened. He could tell by her eyes, wide, desperate, honest, that this was no game. "Where is she?" Lily pointed toward the woods. "Back there, in a little car. Men came last night. They broke things. They hurt her and left." Jack's jaw clenched. He grabbed his coat and his lantern. "Stay here, Lily. I'll find your mom." But the little girl shook her head fiercely. "No. I have to go too." And there was something in her voice, a fire, a determination, that reminded him of his late wife. So he nodded. "All right. Let's go." They trudged through the woods, frost crunching under their boots, breath puffing in the cold air. The sun was just starting to rise, painting the sky pink and gold. After about 10 minutes, they found a beat-up old sedan, half buried in the snow. The windows were cracked, and inside, a woman lay slumped over the steering wheel. Jack rushed forward and checked her pulse. Weak, but there. He wrapped her in his coat and carried her back to the cabin, Lily holding his arm the whole way. For the next 2 days, Jack did everything he could. He wasn't a doctor, but he knew enough to clean wounds, make broth, and keep someone warm. Sarah, the mother, had bruises on her ribs and a gash on her forehead. She barely spoke at first, only whispered thank yous between coughs. By the 3rd day, Sarah opened her eyes fully. She looked around the small cabin and saw her daughter asleep on the rug by the fire, clutching Jack's old flannel shirt like it was a teddy bear. "Why are you helping us?" she asked weakly. Jack shrugged. "'Cause you needed it." Sarah tried to smile but tears filled her eyes. "You don't even know us." Jack paused, staring into the fire. "Don't need to. My wife used to say, when someone's drowning, you don't ask their name before you pull them out. Guess I finally listened." Sarah let out a small laugh, the kind that hurts but heals at the same time. As the days passed, Lily filled the cabin with life. She drew pictures with coal on scraps of wood, helped Jack feed the horses, and told stories that made even his weathered heart soften. He found himself laughing again, something he hadn't done in years. When Sarah was strong enough, she told Jack what had happened. She'd been trying to leave an abusive man, taking Lily and what little money they had. But when they tried to hide, the man and his friends had found them. They'd beaten her and left her to die in the cold. Jack's hands tightened into fists, but he stayed calm. "You're safe now," he said firmly. "Ain't nobody gonna hurt you again." He drove them into town the next morning, straight to Sheriff Boyd's office. The sheriff, an old friend, took one look at Sarah's bruises and Lily's frightened eyes and got to work. Within a week, the men were arrested. Word spread fast about what Giant Jack had done. The man who once kept to himself now hailed as a hero. But Jack didn't care about the praise. What mattered was that Sarah and Lily were safe. A few weeks later, as spring started to melt the snow, Sarah and Lily came back to visit. Sarah had found a small rental in town, and Lily had started school. She ran up to Jack's porch carrying a drawing, a stick figure of a big man, a woman, a little girl, and a horse. "That's us," she said proudly. Jack laughed, tucking the picture into his pocket. "Guess it is." Sarah smiled. "You didn't just save our lives,